Welcome to Professor Game Podcast, where we interview successful practitioners of games, gamification, and game thinking who brings the best of their experiences to get ideas, insights, and inspiration that help us in the process of getting the students to learn what we teach. And I'm Rob Alvarez. I teach and work at IE Business School in Madrid, where we create interactive and engaging learning materials. Want to know more? Go to professorgame.com/subscribe, start on our email list, and ask me anything. Hello, Engagers. So today we have a special episode. It's quite different from before. You'll notice it in the sound because it was taken during a trip I made to Amsterdam, where I stayed at the Arcade Hotel, where I had the chance to chat with the owner of the Arcade Hotel. It's a hotel. It's sort of the video game or the geek hotel. It's a very, very incredible experience, and I wanted to share it with you, and that's why I'm taking these few seconds before the interview just to give you a heads up that the sound will be, it will sound a bit different than the usual episodes, but the content is amazing, and I hope it inspires you and that you get a lot out of it. So I just leave you to that. There you'll have Daniel Salmanovich, who is the owner of the Arcade Hotel.
Yeah, so my name is Dan Salmanovich. I'm the founder and director of the Arcade Hotel. Born and raised in Montreal. Spent most of my life in the service industry. Dad and some friends of his got into hotels in Amsterdam. I had just gotten fired from an event planning company. So I was looking for the next best thing. And I moved to Amsterdam in 2005 or 6 and started working in the hotels. Did housekeeping, did the breakfast, did the accounting, the front office, the marketing. So I did a little bit of everything. Did a summer program at the hotel school in The Hague. And then over the years, just learned the business from the inside out. And then a few years ago, I was living in Berlin. We had a hotel there. We were in the process of selling it. I was moving back to Amsterdam. And I didn't want the hotel in Amsterdam just to be another Booking.com hotel.
I'm going to pause you right there because that's part of what we're going to talk about in this interview.
So yeah, that's how I got to Amsterdam.
That's who Dan is, and we're you might feel the sound is a bit different than usual because we're here sitting inside the game room of the Arcade Hotel. So yes, pow pow. There's going to be probably some cool pictures if you go to professorgame.com and look for Dan. You're going to find the show notes. We're going to see some of the cool stuff that we can see around here. And I'm staying here. I'm in Amsterdam right now, and I'm staying at the hotel for the second time because I was amazed at the first time. You probably heard of it when I was in Gamification Europe because I spent some time talking about it as well. And I'm very, very happy to be here with you today, Dan.
Thanks for coming.
No, it's my pleasure, definitely. So the first thing I wanted to know, you were going to get into the hotel, but before that, I would like to know, the usual day of Dan here at the Arcade Hotel. What does it look like? Because we listened to the manager of the Arcade Hotel, which is the video game and the geek hotel, if you ask me.
Yeah. And
it sounds pretty cool. So what does it look like? What does it feel like to be Dan in a day like this one?
Well, unfortunately, I'm no longer the GM here.
Okay.
There's a guy named Steve who's our GM. I oversee the hotel more on marketing, branding, partnerships, sponsorships. I don't really handle the day-to-day so much anymore. But it still does involve going online and buying a 2-foot-high Terminator, exoskeleton hand and looking for a lot of, 48 Dreamcast games and then negotiating the price with somebody or buying a collection of comic books. I still get to do the geek stuff of the Arcade Hotel, but not necessarily the day-to-day running of the hotel. Because at the moment I do focus on expansion. We are looking to move into other cities. So I've been spending a lot of time looking for investors, dealing with the finances. So it's not as, it's not as luxurious as it sounds. But yeah,
it does sound like you're doing some of the things you want to do and some of the things you have to do as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even the things that I have to do, I want to do. I mean, it's not easy trying to find investors, and because I want to take this to 40 cities in 10 years.
Wow.
That's the idea. Making that a reality is a lot harder to get that off the ground. So yeah, I do have a combination. So my day to day is really I'm on the laptop, my laptop. I'm grinding, looking for people, sending out a billion emails, then hunting for deep culture bargains. uh, and yeah, dealing with our partners because we do have sponsors for the hotel as well. Partners, we work with NVIDIA and Sennheiser, Yamaha, Noble Chairs, EA, Ajax Amsterdam, which is the football team, but we're sponsored. We're partnered up with their esports team, as well as the Eredivisie, which is the esports league. Yeah, things like that. So I enjoy finding other companies who want to work with us and figuring out how we can work together.
That sounds very, very, very cool, I have to say.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes.
So within that you were talking before about how you arrived to this idea. Can you give us, a peek into how this came through? Is there anything similar around that you saw that you said, "Oh, this sounds like a cool concept I wanna use," or how did it come to your mind to create something like the Arcade Hotel?
I think it was just a good timing. So I was in the process of moving back to Amsterdam. We were selling the hotel in Berlin, which was nothing like this. I mean, it was a business hotel in West Berlin, and I knew that I wanted to come back here. We were in the process of buying the ground floor and the first floor of the building next door. So we would be expanding the hotel with 9 new rooms. So I wanted to try something with 9 new rooms. We were, it was going to look brand new, so we might as well try something at the same time. So I didn't want it to be just, we were at the time a Booking.com hotel. So I think it was like 98%, 99% of our reservations came through Booking.com or Expedia, which I didn't want anymore. It costs us money. We have to pay commissions on it. This is for everybody booking a hotel in the near future or in the future. Always book with the hotel direct. Always, 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 always. So we bought the first 2 floors, and then we started design. So, okay, let me backtrack. I was in Berlin. I had a bottle of Jameson with me. I was gaming. During those few weeks, I had been trying to come up with an idea of what to do with this place. So one night after a few drinks, while gaming, I had a light bulb moment. And I was like, fuck it, why don't I put video games in there? Why don't I put comic books in there? Why don't I just take my childhood and vomit it on the hotel? And essentially that's what I did. I still had, action figures from when I was a kid. I had my full comic book collection. I had some gaming stuff. So I came back to Amsterdam. I started working with a PR firm. We put out that we're going to be opening up a video game hotel. And then it just kind of blew up from there. We did a launch. There's a hotel night, which is very similar to a museum night.
Okay.
So one night, 40 hotels around Amsterdam open up their doors to the public. They show off what they have. We did that with our 9 new rooms, only our 9 rooms. We launched the Arcade Hotel. And then it just kind of took off, and we became the world's first video game hotel. So when I had moved back here and I had the idea and we were still building the rooms and I had started researching, I found that there was one hotel in London that had 1 room with 4 TVs. So they had a PlayStation, an Xbox, a Nintendo, and a PC. And that was it. That was the closest thing I found to a video game hotel.
Wow.
And that was it.
So the research paid off.
Yeah, exactly. Just finding out that nobody else was doing it, really, really, really helped. So it was a good feeling knowing that nobody else had done it.
And as far as I've seen, like when I've looked for rooms, the 2 times for whatever reason I've gone in once or twice, seems like you have fully booked usually.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really. I would love to say it's because it's the video games, but Amsterdam is a really well-to-do city. So as far as tourism is concerned, so it's always full. Yes, I think that the video games do help, but in general, this is a very busy city, so I'm lucky in that sense. But
so those 40 cities are probably going to be busy cities as well.
Yeah, all busy cities. It has to be first and foremost. I'm a hotel.
Yeah.
So I have to ensure that our business runs well, and the video games is just it's an add-on. It's an experience. It's not the hotel itself, but it's the experience within the hotel.
Fantastic. So you were talking about some of the features, and I've seen many of them. I've seen you mentioned that there's consoles in many places.
Yes.
There's this game room where we're at. I'm looking at, 6 PCs?
Yep.
3 or 4 consoles, looking at 2 gigantic TVs.
Yeah, 5 consoles.
5 consoles, actually. Yeah, that's the Switch. I didn't see it. And there's some VR headsets over there, which I'm guessing have fantastic games as well.
Yep.
Looks very cool. What are like the features? If I said like, what's the feature set of, of the Arcade Hotel? What do we have here?
So in every room you have a retro console and an NVIDIA Shield. So the NVIDIA Shield is a great, multi-purpose entertainment, like a home entertainment console. It's streaming in the cloud. We have a GeForce Now membership on every single NVIDIA Shield, so you will have quite a few titles that are already locked and loaded. So the NVIDIA Shield, then the retro console. In the reception right behind you, we have our video game library, where every guest can come down and take 2 games at a time, free of charge, obviously, and game in the room. And we have everything in the rooms from, let's say, the original Atari, so 1977, up until the original Xbox, which is 2001. So you never know what you're going to get. Some people like to request, I want a, Super Nintendo, or I want an N64 or whatever. We try and do our best, but sometimes it's just you're going to get what you're going to get. So that's as far as the gaming in the room. Down in the lobby, we have a retro corner, so we got 4 old CRTVs with a bunch of different consoles over there. We have a tabletop gaming, which is 450 games in there.
450?
Yeah, the table over there, I mean, you've seen it. It's got 450 games loaded inside. We have a comic book library, which you can come down, take up to your room. As you mentioned, we have the game room, which is our pièce de résistance, our gym, our spa, where, you listeners at home, I did the open air quotes for spa and gym. And as you said, I mean, this is kind of the high-end everything. We're working with the top-of-the-line MSI computers with GeForce graphic card. All the consoles, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox, I want to say S or X, or, because I told you before, I'm not much of an Xbox guy. The Nintendo Switch, 2, 65-inch TVs, an MSI backpack for the VR. So, I mean, this is the pièce de résistance that, you won't find in your room, but this is just the high-end everything, and you get the full experience. What else we have a bar, we have a 24-hour bar. So if you're up late, you can pick up some snacks, some noodle soup, some pizzas. We have some cocktails that we also like to do. Myself being Canadian, my pride and joy is the Bloody Caesar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's
not really, but just looking at your face, it seems like it's quite a pride.
I'm already drooling. Like, it's only 9:15 in the morning and I'm already drooling. So we have the Bloody Caesar, and we do bike rentals. And one thing that I'm very proud of about this place is our staff. They are some of the most helpful people you're going to find in Amsterdam. Very knowledgeable, and they know their gaming as well. So if you want to talk about gaming, this is the place to come. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's quite a feature set, as you might have realized from Dan. I've enjoyed many of them. I'm not going to say all, especially on the PC side. I'm not an expert in PC gaming.
I don't know.
Actually, the first time I came here, I knew I was waiting for my room and I had to stay around here, so I spent a while, and I tried to do something on the PC, but I don't have like an account on Steam. I didn't have any of those things, so it was like, you gotta just stop trying. There was like a tournament here, so most of the consoles were outside, which is my area of expertise.
Yeah.
So I just charged my phone for a while. But no, this is a fantastic place. The feature set is absolutely amazing. If you're anything of a PC gamer as well, you'll see you have, as Dan mentioned, some top of the notch PCs over here to play as much as you want to.
Yeah.
So now that we know how it starts, now that we know some of the feature sets here at the Arcade Hotel, what would you say is, like, I don't know, what's the way in which this hotel views itself outside? Because you mentioned that you're not just, you are a hotel and that's the main core of your business. And of course you have to have a business, otherwise it would be sad to see this hotel close. But when you go outside and people come here, is it really mostly people who are interested in the gaming thing, or is it a mix? Like, what does it look like for you from that standpoint?
So clearly, this is a gaming hotel, but I don't like to pigeonhole myself just by saying it's a gaming hotel. I mean, we are this place is for geeks by geeks. So it's yeah, gaming is at the forefront of this, but we also have the comic book library and all this kind of decor that fits around this sci-fi comic book superheroes gaming geek culture.
Oh, and I saw board games, by the way,
Yeah,
as
of
well.
course. I mean, it should encompass everything gaming. We look at gaming as kind of the social glue. I mean, I want people to come here and leave with new Facebook friends or Instagram friends or have new emails, and meet new people from all over. And gaming is a huge facilitator of, social interaction. So you have that. But the people that come here, over the we opened in 2016 and now we're in 2019, so a little over 3 years. We went from being this kind of 90%, we call them civilians, so the people who are not necessarily into this, and they are the Booking.com bookers or the Expedia bookers, and they just, they need a hotel in Amsterdam and they found a good price or we have a good review, so they decided to come here. And then they realize it's a video game hotel. But I would say now we're at 50% gamer, 50% civilian.
So civilian, I love the word.
Exactly. I mean, it's just it's my general manager Steve is not a gamer, so he
have a civilian as a general manager. Wow.
So exactly. I mean, he's a hotel guy. He was actually my mentor when I started in this business 15 years ago. But so he kind of coined it as civilians, people who are non-gamers. So I think we're at about 50-50, and I think we've tipped the scales. I think we're more gamers now than non-gamers. We see it in the amount of people who use the game room where we're sitting. But at the end of the day, the statistics are that 1 in 3 people on the planet are gamers in some form or another, whether it be mobile or console or PC or whatever. 1 in 3 people on the planet are gamers. We do enjoy seeing, a dad sitting here he's in his late 30s, early 40s, sitting here with his, 5 to 10-year-old child on an old Nintendo in the lobby, being like, this is how you play Duck Hunt. This is what I played when I was growing up. And then then he moves over to the Super Nintendo and he's like, this is Donkey Kong Country. And then, so we now have a mix of people. We have a lot of gamer couples. We have a lot of these families that are coming here that probably want to just like shove their kids in front of some consoles and then mom and dad can sit at the bar and have a beer and not be disturbed. But yeah, so we're definitely seeing more gamers coming in, even if they used to be gamers. You could tell. Like, you'll see the dad just grab a Nintendo game, give it a good blow, and then shove it in 3 times, and then blow it again, shove it in, and then it works. Like he knows what he's doing. But you won't see him kind of coming into the game room and picking up a PS4 remote or a PS3 remote. So yeah, we definitely do have a 30 plus clientele. We started off with the retro thing. So we have people who are, and I think that's what draws some of these people who don't game anymore but used to game on the retro stuff, and that's kind of also why they're coming.
It's a calling as well.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the newsletter because I signed up a while ago, and I've seen you also hold events here in general. What are like the other things that you do? Again, your main business is being a hotel. What are other things that happen in the Arcade Hotel?
Our longest running event is a monthly FIFA tournament, and this is this is what we do work with EA on this as well. We work with Ajax Amsterdam, the esports team with them as well. So FIFA is our longest running. Every month we have about 32 people coming here on a Saturday, and we do a nice tournament. There's a €10 cover charge, but the money goes to the prize money. So we have that. We started. I think we're going to have our 4th edition called the Arcade Talks, whereby we bring people from the industry, either from the gaming industry or kind of from the geek kingdom, discussing different things. So, our first Arcade Talks was how fans can influence the games or the gaming franchise. Was done by actually our event planner who's been studying this and wrote his thesis on it. It is extremely interesting. Another one we had was gamification and how gaming can help you in your professional career.
Who was it? Out of curiosity?
I forgot the name. I actually have her book sitting on my desk. I forgot the name. I will get it to you after, and I would love if you even plug her because it's very interesting as well.
I'll put her. It was her in the show notes. Melinda Jacobs, by any chance?
Is she Dutch?
She lived in Amsterdam until recently.
Yeah, I have to.
She's American, but she lived here.
I think it could very well possibly be.
She's a past guest, so and her birthday was today or yesterday or something.
Happy birthday, Melinda!
She moved to Berlin, so she has something in common with you.
Okay.
American living in Amsterdam, moving back and forth from Berlin. So.
Okay. Interesting. Is she cute? Yeah, we have the next one coming up soon. So we like to hold these talks about the industry. We had two actually Dutch guys who worked on the original Star Wars film, so they came in to talk about that as well. One of them had written a book about his experiences working on the Star Wars movies. So that happens also once a month. We do, at the end of the day, I'd like to be a community center as well.
Is it like directed towards local people, Dutch people? Is it more international for your guests?
It is obviously for our guests. We do inform them that we do have these. But no, at the end of the day, this is also for the locals. I do want to be a driving force in let's say, the neighborhood or the community of Amsterdam for promoting gaming, first of all, responsibly. Second of all, if we could influence, if I would have known how to become, a games director or, a programmer or art director at the age of 12 or even younger, I definitely think my life would have been different than it is today. Because I started gaming when I was 5. I had a ColecoVision, or when I was 4. I had a ColecoVision and Atari, and that's where if I would have known how that world was working, so I may have tried to get into it a lot more because I did want to be in it when I was younger. But I knew nothing about it. And so if we could somehow influence younger generations today and give them, help them kind of find their way, I'd be very happy about that. So I do want to be, a bit of a center for, information and promotion of the video game industry. We work, I have a games, let's say, director. And I work with him on these sponsorships and partnerships and everything. And he also gives a talk to parents in high schools and in elementary schools about gaming responsibly. So he also coaches younger people who happen to be doing very well in a specific game, not just coaching strategy on the game, but how to make sure that they eat well, that they still study, that they still get the exercise that they need. So we also want to, help parents understand this industry. So every once in a while he comes here, and we also have one of the talks for parents to come here and learn about gaming responsibly. Other events, we're going to be starting a fight night soon, a race night soon. We just celebrated Canada Day here on this past Saturday.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that you're Canadian?
Of course. We had poutines. I'm not sure if you're familiar with poutines.
No, I've never been to Canada, actually.
So it's French fries, gravy, and cheese all toppled onto each other, and it's just like a heart attack in a bowl. So, we had that. We had the Bloody Caesar. So just a big celebration. We do Halloween. We celebrated it. We had a little bit of a memorial for Stanley when he passed away. So we like to celebrate small things. But on the regular, at least once a week, we'll have a board game night, different things like that. So small competitions, speed running of Super Mario. We're actually in the process of creating our own Mario level in the Mario Maker. Yeah, we're going to be creating our own level, and if people beat it, then they're going to get a bar tab, like a free bar tab. So. It's small things like that. We like to keep it interesting here.
I'm sure it is. It's getting interesting. In fact, I just got a Nintendo Switch, and it's going to arrive maybe today or tomorrow. I won't be there, which is a weird thing for me, but it has the Mario Maker too. So
you want to pick it up on the road while you're on the road?
I asked for it on some platform, and it just arrives right to my house, Amazon-like. So
Fine.
It was Black Friday, Red Friday kind of deal, or something like that. And I said, you know what? Take it. Take my money.
Take all my money.
Yeah, it's a problem. But
you should have had it delivered here.
then I have to take it back to Madrid, and that is a problem for sure.
Really?
The bag's not so large. I had to bring clothes. I'm not sure why.
No, exactly. I just get rid of a few pairs of underwear, and just, you have more underwear at home. Exactly.
There's always more
underwear.
No, I think I needed to wear underwear, especially for the meetings with universities.
I don't think they'd notice.
They'll never realize, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. So those events sound very interesting, and looks. I don't know if you have been into the gamification of things. Have kind of. You probably went into this event of this person who came here, whose name you will find out if you're listening to this. You can go to the show notes, and you will know if it was Melinda or somebody else here from the Dutch community. I think we've had 2 or 3 guests from the Dutch community, so it might be a past guest. If not, it might be a future guest. Mm-hmm. So very, very interesting as well. But is there anything that you feel that you would like to use as far as gamification in the arcade hotel, or that you feel that you're using consciously or unconsciously? There's something like that you could think about the arcade hotel?
Wow. Not really, to be honest.
Because in the end, with gamification, one of the things that you're trying to do is reach some objective. To say, well, what I want is for guests to, I don't know, stop. Maybe one guest every now and then takes a comic book. So you want to stop guests who do that from doing it. And you put that objective and you start designing around that with game elements or other things. That could be, I'm just saying the first thing that comes to my mind. But I don't know if it's something that you've done, if something has come up like that, I don't know, or if something you would like to do in the future as well.
I mean, at the end of the day, having a hotel the idea is to make someone's stay the most comfortable as possible. Without overdoing it. I am from North America. I've worked in the service industry since a very young age. And I believe that service is something you do, not something, it's something you are, not something you do. You either have it or you really don't. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that, people come and they have the best experience. Then they leave and then they review us, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, all the time. And I work with my staff quite a bit to try and tackle those objectives. Like, those are my objectives, to have the 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10 on every single review. Whether it's through the check-in process or just general inquiries by the guest about what to do in the city or the cleanliness of the rooms, or, there's certain things that we have control over and certain things that we don't have control over. And, I mean, everything is a small project here. Day to day, everything is a little small goals here. Being in a hotel, cleaning the room to the best of your ability. It's a small goal, but it's and we have processes for it, and we work on those processes on a regular basis. Having guests kind of take 2 video games from the retro game library and making sure that they bring it back. I mean, if you remember back in the day, if you didn't bring back your VHS to the video store, they would charge you extra if you didn't rewind them or something.
The blockbuster of
exactly.
Sorts.
But they had to make sure that you rewinded it, otherwise you got charged an extra $2 or something. It's the same thing, kind of like finding ways that people don't leave the games in the consoles, which then are housekeepers. So it's small things like that. Yeah, it's not so.
No, there are small behaviors there that you're trying to make sure, both on the staff side and on the guest side, that are complied. Maybe there could be interesting things for you to do in the future.
We are working on getting more direct bookings, so
that could be another objective.
And
for sure.
There's kind of we're putting together kind of some riddles now that would get you an extra discount if you come onto our website and start the booking process. And if you kind of figure out this little riddle, you'll get an extra, either an extra welcome drink or a late check, like another late check. An extra long late checkout. So we're going to add a little bit more gaming into that.
There's always interesting things to do. Like, sometimes it's not even about perks. Like, having things, it's not stuff. It could be access to something. It could be things that don't. I mean, because many times we think of rewards, it tends to be money or money related. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to pay for a drink in the bar, or you don't have to pay for
a late checkout,
or those kinds of things. And that's perfect. That works very well as well. But there's other things which sometimes could be even more powerful that are not necessarily things you give people. So access is one of them, and depending on what that access could mean, it could be something interesting. So, or getting to pick which is the console you have in your room. That doesn't cost anything. really. And of course, you have to limit it to the options. If it's a single room, you say, well, what do we have in single rooms? And you have to have an inventory of that. In single rooms, we have Nintendo, Atari, and PlayStation 1.
Yep.
So pick from the three.
Yep.
If it's the Fantastic Four room, what do we have in Fantastic Four rooms? These 3, 4, 5, 6 consoles that you can pick from that. So that could be something that doesn't really cost you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be an access kind of thing.
It's something we've been thinking about. I mean, it's something we've thought about since day one. The logistics of something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
You have a great example of it. But the logistics behind it is just...
It's not that simple.
Show. No, it's a shit show. But we're 100% trying to think of ways for on the guest side, I mean, as well as on the staff side, it's also things like, if you get mentioned by name in a review, you get a little bonus as well. I mean, it's so there's small things both on the staff side and on the guest side. Mostly on the guest side that we're trying to just make the whole process a lot more fun. From pre-booking to the end of your stay. I mean, it's small things that we're trying to, because games are fun. Gaming is, I mean, not just video gaming, but gaming in general is fun. Like life is a game, and it should be treated as such. So yeah, trying to find those things it's definitely something I'm working on. I have a colleague who's a lot more into it than I am, and he's always coming up with good ideas. So I think over the next year or two, you're going to see some more gamification happening in the hotel.
Interesting.
But when we sit down again, you might see a little bit more of that gamification coming.
Interesting. I was talking to somebody at the night shift last night, and I just realized I was thinking about the whole situation, and it dropped on me. I said, well, if I was single and younger, and I was working his shift at night, and I could just play games, I'd probably end up single for the rest of my life, working the night shift at the arcade hotel. You just are there, and like just for you to picture, I don't if you've not been here, literally the place where the staff member at night sits, behind his back is the game room.
And in front of him is the retro game library, which... Exactly. So imagine you're there, it's, 12 p.m., nobody's really coming in or looking, like, maybe if somebody wants to come in and rings the bell, he's going to come in, or you're going to listen to this person come in. Yeah.
Other than that, this person has, the game room behind him, and if nobody comes, he can just sit down and play for a while.
So we have had problems with this in the past. So it's definitely been an issue that our staff would end up playing rather than doing their job. So it's not just that our hosts or receptionists have to just open the door and serve some food and check in and check out people. There's other tasks that need to be done throughout the day and the night.
Okay.
So back kind of at the beginning, those things didn't get done at all.
Okay.
Because they were gaming just pretty much the whole shift until somebody came in. They do get to game a little bit if it's really, really, really quiet. But, they're not allowed putting on headphones while they're gaming because, you need to be aware of what's going on. It is tempting for them. It is very tempting for them.
That's exactly what I meant. Like, how do you... Even if you want to, like, oh, no, I'm going to be a responsible citizen. I'm going to be...
I mean, you met, it was Dean, I think you said you met... Was it Dean you met last night?
I'm not sure if it was me, the Dean or Miguel.
Miguel was working in the evening. Yeah. Miguel
could have been either of the two of them.
Yeah. Most of our staff are gamers. Some of our old school staff, some of our staff that's been here a lot longer, are not. So we have a balance.
This used to be I'm going to quoting here, normal hotel.
Yes.
Just a normal hotel.
Just a normal.
And some of the staffers are from that time as well.
Correct. Yeah. They're still around from back in the day, and they're not gamers. Actually, one of my colleagues, Corolla, she has a 15, 16-year-old son who's obsessed with gaming. So I mean, she knows about gaming through him, but she's never really picked up anything and played it. But yeah, some of our night shift, they're a bit younger. They're more they're some of them are gamers. So it has been a problem. Just as long as they do their job,
it's fine.
It's fine. But don't start playing, an online multiplayer where you're going to have to, jump off and go AFK every once in a while just because somebody wants to check in or somebody's going to get a beer. So it took us a while, but we found a balance with the staff for sure.
Interesting.
It took a while though.
Yeah, of course, because you do have that element of, which I guess is, as you were saying, it's fine if you sit down and play, Red Dead Redemption for a while, and you're playing and somebody comes up, you just click pause,
Yeah.
you get back to the desk, and nothing happened.
Correct. Yeah.
And if there's nobody else in the game room anyway, you're not keeping somebody from playing.
Exactly.
So
but yeah, I mean, they definitely have to keep an eye on the door.
Yeah, of course.
It's just, I mean, you have to be careful as well. I mean, it's 3:00 in the morning. Who knows who's coming in, and guess they have their own key to get into the hotel just to make sure that nobody comes in behind them. And
true.
it's a security thing. I mean, yeah, you can easily just come into the game room and you don't see who's coming in the front door. So security is obviously paramount to everything. But yeah, sometimes we do have like a lot of staff who come here when they're not working.
Okay.
And then they get to play as much as they want. Doesn't matter.
Okay. So that's a perk.
Yeah, we encourage it as well. I mean, it's nice to have them around here and gaming as well, and they're talking to the guests about it. The guests have clearly met them, or for sure have met them when they were working their shift. So I like to have that the social interaction, like kind of less on the work side and more on the what are you playing? Oh, can I join you? Or can I challenge you to FIFA or NHL or I don't know? Should we play a Call of Duty together? And yeah, so I really like that. So.
The whole building the community is it because you started off with something like having new friends and having somebody new on your Facebook, email, or whatever.
Yeah.
So the whole community building is something that you're focused on as well.
Yeah, it has to. I think it has to be. I mean, I'm a social person, and I believe that that all of my staff and everything about this place should emanate that as well. So that social aspect. I mean, gaming is just like I said before. It's just one way to have it. But sitting at the bar. Talking, sometimes I work behind the bar, sometimes I check people, and then we start that conversation. Did you see the last Avengers film, or what do you think was the best Spider-Man film, or and just getting that conversation started, and then it's like, oh, what game are you playing lately? Oh, I'm playing Days Gone. Oh, I'm playing Days Gone as well. Oh, where are you in the game? And it's like, oh, let's put it in, and you show me how you beat this horde, and I'll show you how I beat that horde. It's definitely it's the intro to a nice conversation.
Nice. So, Dan, thank you very much for your time. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to tell our audience in general. People here tend to be interested in gamification.
Right.
If you're interested in gamification, you're probably interested as well in games. It's not a requirement.
Right.
So we do recommend people, if you want to get into gamification, you should play some games to understand what's going on behind the game, so you can get examples, ideas, inspiration, and so on. So I don't know if there's any message you want to send out, other than, of course, staying at the Arcade Hotel, which I've said probably intuitively, directly or indirectly.
Sure.
Is there anything?
Well, I mean, definitely I want to get our message across, which is it's be excellent to each other. I mean, that's first and foremost.
It's like the motto of the hotel.
That's definitely the slogan of the hotel. Obviously, we copped it from somebody else, who I'm not going to mention in case there's some sort of listening, and then it pops up, and then trademark. And now they're working on the third film, which we're very happy about. No, but in general, obviously, be excellent to each other. I mean, online, offline, that's first and foremost. And second of all, if you're going to come here, book direct on the website. But you're going to see, you're first of all going to get the best price, and then you're going to have these perks of booking through the website directly. And I mean, if you're in the hotel, feel free to ask for Dan and have a drink, and let's chat and say hi. I have no problem standing up from my desk and coming to have a drink with somebody because it's a nice, beautiful break for my day. That's something I miss, checking people in, from my hotel experience. It's checking people. I really enjoy that. So if I'm around, you can feel free to say, oh, can Dan check me in? And then I'll spend an hour with you showing you the city. And I mean, it's no, besides that, I mean, I'm really happy that you came by. And if you want to come by, if you have ideas for events, whether you're local or coming in internationally, just get in touch. Let us know what you're thinking. If you ever want a special request, I don't know, a bottle of wine in your room, that's always possible. Bottle of whiskey in your room, also possible.
What do you do with that? It's up to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just don't throw up anywhere in our rooms, and I'm happy.
Where can we find the Arcade Hotel or Dan in the Twitterverse or Instagram or whatever you want to lead us to?
You can definitely find us on Facebook, obviously, as the Arcade Hotel. Same with Instagram, hashtag the Arcade Hotel. Our website is www.arcadehotel.nl for Netherlands. myself, I'm online as Daniel Brian Salmanovich, so you'll always find me on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram personally. I find I just spend sometimes too much time online, so I'm not on Instagram just to limit myself. Yeah, we also have our gamer tags as the Arcade Hotel as well, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox. Yeah, or I'm sitting here in the hotel, and feel free to come by and ask for me and find me, and let's have a chat.
Thanks a lot, Dan. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure staying at the hotel. I'm really enjoying my experience once again. Thanks for taking the time to talk to the engagers. I hope you also enjoyed this interview. I hope the engagers enjoy listening to your experience, what the Arcade Hotel looks like. Hope you get some inspiration as well for some other things that you might do. Probably you don't want to just do another Arcade Hotel, but you might get some inspiration from what Dan is doing, and maybe into other worlds as well. There's many things. There's in Madrid, I've seen there probably are other ones like that. There's game bars or board game bars and video game bars.
Sports bars now as well.
I haven't seen those.
So instead of just having sports on the TVs, it's now esports all over the TVs, which I find very interesting.
So there's many things that still, I'm sure, can be done, and I hope you do find the inspiration for that. But for today and for this week, it's time to say that it's game over.
Hey, Engagers. Thank you for listening to Professor Game Podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this special chat with Daniel Salmanovich of the Arcade Hotel. And if you'd like more interviews like this one, just please let me know. The best way to let me know is by subscribing through professorgame.com/subscribe and get started into our email list. There, you can reply to that initial email. You'll be in contact with me constantly, and you'll be the first to know of any opportunities that Professor Game might have for you. And before you go, you move on to your next topic, your next subject, or your next mission. Would you like to know how Clark Aldrich is creating short simulations? Then subscribe using your favorite podcast app and listen to the next episode of Professor Game. See you there!